At this time, I'd like to call up Chief Caffarelli and ask him to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Wherever you want. Do you want?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to recognize our city officials. Of course, our very own Mayor Daniel Rizzo. City Councilor Bob Hass. City Councilor Tony Zambuto. Ward 3 Councilor Arthur Guanasso. Other officials and invited guests. Chief Caffarelli. Lieutenant Ruggiero. I'd like to also introduce Diane Modica, President of the East Boston Chamber of Commerce. Dawn Harney from the Chelsea Chamber. Welcome and thank you all for coming. I've got a few brief announcements. We have our 50-50 raffle at the table where you checked in, so if you haven't bought a raffle ticket, please do so. We'd appreciate it. This beautiful centerpiece that will be raffled off is being provided by Kerry Abrams, Kinship Floral. Thank you, Kerry. They were always so very beautiful. On the table, you'll see a flyer for our wine tasting event, February 8th at Antonia's. It's our first and hopefully our annual wine tasting event. Tickets are $25 in advance and $30 at the door. It's going to be a real fun time. All of the board of directors at the chamber will have tickets to sell. So if you'd like a ticket before you leave today, just come up and see one of us. We'd be happy to sell you a ticket. Our golf tournament is May 17th at Mount Hood. Thank you. Forgot the name. We're looking to put foursomes together as soon as possible. Our pot of gold is scheduled for September 12th, and we are still planning a venue for that. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mayor Rizzo, and he's going to be giving his State of the City address. I'm disappointed I don't have a bio to read.
That's okay. I'm going to give a little mini bio while
All
I'm
right,
giving my
thank
speech.
you, sir.
Okay?
Thank you. Jane, could you do that?
Laura, thank you very much. For those of you that had to endure this the other night, my apologies go out to you. It probably won't be as long. But it's been a great year, and I have to say, it's always very comfortable here before my friends at the Chamber of Commerce and our surrounding chambers. I've been part of this Chamber of Commerce since, John, you probably have the dates down, right? Somewhere around 1990. And I've made a lot of great friends, great business contacts. I can't say enough for what it's meant for me and my business and me personally to be part of this Chamber of Commerce for as long as I have. And obviously, you have my continued support, and I think you guys are all doing a lot of great things. I know membership is on the rise, and rightfully so, because there is a real value in being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and I've always believed that and will always continue to believe that. I also want to thank Revere TV, Sergio, always there for, for our viewing public who can't always get to these events, but can stay up to speed with what's going on in the city. So it's been a very, very busy year, as a lot of you may know. We've tried to take on a variety of issues since last January at this time. We've talked about constituent services, we've talked about education, we've talked about public safety, economic development, and I'm going to touch on a few of those initiatives and kind of things that we've pursued and talked about during 2012 and what we're kind of hoping for in 2013. When I took over, there was 7 unions that were out of contract that I basically have had to negotiate with. Believe me, it's a timely, time-consuming, I should say, lengthy process. But we've made some progress. I think we have about 4 unions right now that we've got pretty well wrapped up. And and we have money, very happy to say, with my colleagues here in the City Council, who I want to thank for their support in allowing us to put money aside in a reserve account for salary increases to settle all these union contracts, assuming we go forward with them. So, I think that in and of itself, if I did nothing else this year other than settle the 7 contracts, we've made some great headway. It makes it for a healthy relationship between City Hall, between the administration, and our employees. So I'm very, very pleased that we're making a lot of headway there. We should be settling up this year, and we should be reporting out to the City Council shortly. It looks like we had a strong year revenue-wise. It looks like we're going to be certifying a free cash balance of $1.2 million. So that will no doubt add to the city's strong fiscal position and hopefully continue our great road that we've had with respect to Moody's and our bond rating. Our bond rating, while a lot of cities and towns and states across the country are declining, in fact, the country itself took a hit with Moody's and was downgraded. The city of Revere last time around was upgraded. So I think we all have an awful lot to be proud of when it comes to the way we've handled our finances. With respect to our finances, a lot of you have heard this CityStat model that we've pursued, and that is more of a performance-based budgeting tool than just a budget that comes out every year allowing for 2.5% increase and whatever new growth we may have. This is a way that we are going to do business in the city with respect to finances, and that is looking at every budget, but not just looking at the numbers itself, but what do the numbers get us? What do the numbers buy us in terms of city services? And in fact, we've had so much success so far, just in the early stages, we haven't even fully implemented it. But during our conversations, there's 2 departments that we've kind of rolled this CityStat out with. It's been our Department of Public Works and our police department, excuse me. And by virtue of rolling out this system with the existing money that we have right now, I'm very happy to say, and I announced this the other night in my official State of the City address, that the police department, under the leadership of Chief Caffarelli, we have identified finances to hire 5 more officers without asking the council for any money. So those are some of the initiatives and reasons why I think we have to stick and go forward with the with the model such as CityStat that, things change, and change isn't always easy. It's one of the things that I have found since taking over as mayor. A lot of people have been here for a long time, and you can understand why people might not want to make significant changes far off into their careers, and people, change is a scary thing. But I'm really very, very proud of the predominant amount of our municipal workforce that has not only accepted some of the changes that we've tried to implement, but they've actually embraced them. I consider myself very, very, very fortunate. With respect to public safety, I mentioned just a couple seconds ago about the new police officers we'll be able to hire, which I believe is desperately needed. We've also implemented walking patrols up and down Broadway during peak hours, and I believe that people, generally speaking, feel safer now walking the streets, knowing that there's police officers within earshot, should they ever need them. I mean, Broadway is a safe place. I believe our central business district always has been a safe place, but there's a difference between being safe and feeling safe, and I've always tried to make that distinction. And I think by Officer Caffarelli and his command staff remaining committed to keeping that visibility where it is and keeping that presence on Broadway, that is going to play right into our hand in wanting to revitalize Broadway the way we do and the way we're going to continue to do over the next 2 or 3 years. We're opening up a substation just across the street from where the old police station used to be, and that's going to be manned at least for maybe 10, 12 hours a day. There'll be somebody there, or at least in the general vicinity of the substation. So the general public now will be able to go by there with questions, complaints, maybe file an accident report, whatever, not have to go down to the new station on Route 16. So again, it's going to give more presence in the area of our central business district. I want to talk a little bit about education. Our MCAS scores, it frustrates me to see kids go off to private schools, though I know parents, they want the best for their children, and I understand that, but it's amazing what I have seen as mayor with respect to our teachers and administrators that we have in our public schools. We have no question in my mind amongst the most dedicated, hardworking, committed public servants in our school department as I've ever seen. And these kids are learning. The city of Revere, their MCAS scores were second in the urban school district, only behind Cambridge, who spends over 2 times the amount per student in educating their children. That is quite an accomplishment for our school department. I'm very, very proud of that. We are, as most of you know, building a new McKinley School that will, as it stands right now, be located at Hill Park. The former, or what will be the former location of Hill Park. We'll have to relocate Hill Park, but because the student population has been so significant, the McKinley School, which was originally built for 450 children, we're now being mandated by the Mass School Building Authority to build a school for 690 students. So it simply would not fit at the existing site, or didn't make as much financial sense as it would to move it over to the Hill Park site. So we're building a new, brand new, state-of-the-art, long-awaited, much-deserved new school for those McKinley School kids. And it's the last piece of the 5-school puzzle that we undertook back in 2000. So, I'm very, very happy that that's progressing along. And again, want to thank my colleagues for their patience and their continued support for the McKinley School children, faculty, and families that are going to benefit from that project. It's going to benefit literally generations to come. And so I'm very, very happy about that. And lastly, as it pertains to our school department, something that's near and dear to me as a veteran myself, I've always thought in the back of my mind that I would love to see a JROTC program come to fruition at Revere High School. And this year, under the leadership of Dr. Lorenzo Garcia and our Veterans Affairs agent, Nick Bua, we were able, it's unbelievable how fast they got this up and running, to implement our inaugural class of JROTC. They, believe it or not, they've been in existence for 4 or 5 months. They're already winning awards for their performances. It's just unbelievable. There were over I think close to 125 kids that signed up to become part of this JROTC. And Major Bowker and Sergeant Major Callender, who are the stewards over this program, they're both retired military, are doing an incredible job with these kids. There's a lot that goes in with JROTC. This is not a program that's geared toward pushing kids into the military. In fact, it really has nothing to do even with the military. But it's the values that people get in the military. They get the discipline. They get the service end of it. The spirit. There's a lot. They get the there's a lot of kids that, they don't have a lot of confidence. It builds confidence in these young students. So it does an awful, awful lot. And it's amazing if you ever have a chance to go up and talk to some of these young cadets when you see the ROTC program around the city, please do. Because you'll be so impressed talking to each and every one of these kids. It's amazing what putting on that uniform and following this JROTC program does for these children. It's an absolute great thing for our high school kids, and I'm very, very proud of them and proud of that program. Before I move on, Sherry Rafferty, it's your birthday today. Thank you so much for being here, celebrating your birthday. She's a good friend, very, very active over in the East Boston Chamber of Commerce, and we're so happy to have our friends from the East Boston Chamber here with us. We really are becoming a regional type of community. We're not just Revere in and of itself. I mean, we're Revere, Massachusetts. They're East Boston. We've got Lynn, Winthrop. But we're operating these days a lot more on a regional basis. I just left a meeting before this talking about our regional 911 system that we're setting up with Winthrop. We are sharing a librarian with Winthrop, with the town of Winthrop, so that we don't have to each fund our own libraries. We're going to split one head librarian, and the Fighting Irish have just entered the hall, I think. That's okay. The librarian now is, that cost will be shared between the town of Winthrop and the town of Revere and the city of Revere. So, we'll be able to, use economies of scale to hopefully save money along the way. And I see that. I mean, our friends in East Boston are going to help us with our new Columbus Day Parade next year. I can't thank them enough for that. That's going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to bringing back that parade. We had that Columbus Day breakfast, which I think was a huge success. People really enjoyed it, and we raised an awful lot of money to give us a head start toward getting there. But getting back to economic development and regionalization and stuff like that, we held our first ever Economic Development Summit back in October, where 150 regional and national interests came in to participate and actually see what the city of Revere had to offer with regards to development opportunities. And it was just, I can't tell you how good it felt to be just a small part of that. The energy that was in the room and continues to generate from that summit is incredible. There is literally probably 8 to 10 sites across the city where we have ongoing conversations about development opportunities. And it's exciting times for me as mayor and our economic development department. And I see our friend from CDM Smith, Bob Button, who was of extreme help in that. Bob, thank you very much. Howard Cook, all you know Howard Cook. I don't know if Howard's here, but I want to give him a little shout out. He was an extremely invaluable resource in putting that summit together, as was my whole economic development team led by John Festa. In fact, they couldn't be here because they're actually meeting with a developer, going over some plans for some retail and senior housing at a site along our central business district. So there's a lot in fact, the summit was actually so successful that I've been asked by the MAPC, by the Massachusetts Area Planning Council, to come in on February 6th and talk to them about how to hold an economic development summit, which I think is such a tribute to the city of Revere and what we all collectively have been able to accomplish. That the MAPC, who's they're a very well-regarded firm that gets involved in master planning issues and helping out cities and towns across the region, think enough of what we were able to do here in Revere that they want to learn from us. I'm very, very proud of that, and I think it's things like that that are going to continue to paint Revere in the positive light that we all want it to. A lot of people ask me all the time, they want an update on the casino, and I wish I could give them more information than what we have. I still contend that a casino at Suffolk Downs with a thoroughbred racetrack is a much better venue than a chemical plant in Everett. I'm not sure how many would agree. You don't need to wear a surgical mask walking across Suffolk Downs like you do at the other site. But nonetheless, we are in the hunt for the license, and we are working out our host community agreements, the City of Revere and the City of Boston. We're both actively pursuing our own agreements, but working in collaboration with one another. And I believe that in really the not-too-distant future, those host community agreements will be signed, where the City of Boston and the City of Revere will hopefully be able to be compensated for whatever negative impacts that a casino may bring, but more than that, capitalize on being the host community for this billion-dollar resort-style casino. There's a lot at stake for people with respect to jobs and revenues, for the city in terms of these collateral investment opportunities. It's going to make our property here in the city much more valuable and more ripe for development for developers who want to be near that type of facility. It's going to open up opportunities for, I see Vince Giarusso and Gina over here right now, for people like them with a transportation company and other companies, Gary, Flores. I mean, a lot of you that are in this room right now that have services, the Comfort Inn is here. I mean, they're going to probably be involved as being used for an overflow of rooms and things like that. So this casino is not going to be the casino just in and of itself. It's going to impact a lot of people's lives. In fact, probably a lot of people in this room. So it's going to be a very, very positive thing. We're working diligently toward it. I'd like to think that we're not being an impediment to the process. We're just trying to get it right, because once we sign this agreement, we've got to live with it for 15 years. So, we don't want to, if it's going to take another month, another 2 months, I want to know at the end of the day when we sign off on this agreement that all of our interests, all of our collective business interests and the residents' interests in the city are protected. And I think we're getting very, very close there. Other projects, I started talking about some of the sites that are in play right now. I'll tell you at least one that I'm very, very excited about. It's moving along, is the TOD project down at Parcel H at Wonderland. You saw the new bridge, you saw the new parking garage, the new plaza deck. Well, now the private investment has to come. And we've been presented plans for a 300-room hotel and a 143-unit high-end apartment with rents starting at about $3,000 a month. So, the drawings are really spectacular. It's not just going to be a brick building or a concrete building. These are very modern-looking structures that are going to blend right in and give that $80 or $90 million investment that we've made down there with public dollars. It's gonna give it its due. You don't want to put $90 million of public money out there to get something substandard. We want something that's gonna really make an impact. And I believe that when this is all said and done, it's gonna make a strong impact and actually be a catalyst for further development going all the way down to the north lot. We've been talking, it's not a dead issue. You might not have heard about it much lately, but was still in active conversations with the Kraft Group about a professional soccer stadium at Wonderland. It's a little bit complicated only because the land is owned by some of the principals involved with Suffolk Downs. So we are kind of having those conversations about how the city can possibly work that into a mitigation package and then work with the Crafts on bringing a professional soccer stadium here. Again, I think that would be a great shot in the arm for the city. I mean, the notion to me as mayor of the city to someday in the not-too-distant future have a billion-dollar resort-style casino and a professional soccer stadium in the city of Revere, I think that puts us up with a world-class community, to be honest with you. I mean, you know. And just another thing, I had mentioned this for the first time publicly in my State of the City address. It's very, very important for me to have activities, as many activities as we possibly can for the youth of our city. I mean, obviously, they're the lifeblood of the community. That's why I'm so high on making sure that everyone has equal access to a quality education. But part and parcel to that is sporting and recreational activities. And, you know, I've always been disappointed in the fact that our football stadium has been in such dire straits. I mean, going back, you know, 20, 25 years, it's been in very, very tough shape. And we've never had the wherewithal or could never find money to do anything with it. In addition to that, the track that goes around the football stadium at Harry Del Russo Stadium is not a regulation track. So as a result, the city of Revere, the school, could never have any home meets at that track because it was not regulation. Well, we were just about 2 weeks ago, back in mid-December, we were informed by the Gateway Parks program that we were going to be the recipients of a $2.72 million grant for the revitalization and the refurbishing of Harry Del Russo Stadium, and we're committed to doing that. So that is very, very exciting news for me. In fact, we're holding a formal press conference where the Secretary of Environmental Affairs, along with his executive director, our state delegation, obviously, and certainly the City Council, and other elected leaders will be part of on February 5th, I believe, at 10:30. Sophia, is it February 5th at 2 p.m.? Okay. So just food for thought. If you certainly the chamber, you're more than welcome to participate in that and join us as we announce this terrific news to the rest of our community. So, with that, it's been a busy, exciting year for me as mayor. I can't tell you how much I appreciate working with the Chamber of Commerce. I promised during my campaign that I would work with the Chamber of Commerce, continue to work with the Chamber of Commerce to make it a more vibrant business community for all of us, and do whatever I could as mayor to make sure that you succeed. And hopefully I've done some of that. You have my continued support to work with you at every level in any capacity that you see fit. My office doors are always open to you. And, I want to thank you, really, for what you do for our community. Business is not the enemy. I know there's probably some people out there that look at business and, they're an obstacle. Business to me is a necessity. Business is a necessity. And we're here to help make your jobs, your lives easier. You put people to work. You add to our tax base. You ask very little with respect to city services. So we're here to support you and your efforts and to help make Revere the best community on the North Shore. So thank you all so much for being here today.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for embracing us and being so involved with us. We truly appreciate it. We've never had it in the past. And I also want to thank you for revitalizing our city, putting us on the map, and for doing such a fabulous job. Truly appreciate it, Dan. Thank you from my heart. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite all the Revere Chambers of Commerce officers and board members, former board members, new board members to come up. And our mayor will do the honors of swearing us in. And once we're done being sworn in, please stay for a photo op.
I think we should face the group and I'll face you guys. But, do you want me to, we're swearing in board and officers? And the president, everything? Yeah. What do I say? It should be the board and then the officers.
Okay.
Okay, why don't we do that?
Ladies first.
What a great-looking group.
I know. Take a picture.
It's beautiful.
If I could just take a minute and interrupt the proceedings just for a brief moment, but something very important. We'd like to recognize Laura D'Amico and thank Laura very, very much for her strong leadership, her strong hand and guidance, your management skills, and your personality, Laura. You've been a real asset to us here at the Chamber. We also know that Laura's worked with all of us here at the board to make the board as strong as it is, and it's just a great pleasure and opportunity to have worked with you, Laura. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
I have something to say after all of this. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we'll do the board and then the officers. So if the officers could just step to the side for a minute. And in all my years, this is the best looking board of directors I've ever seen. Okay, if you all would mind, raise your right hand and repeat after me, stating your name. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a board of director of the Revere Chamber of Commerce. So help me God. Congratulations. Step forward, please.
I know, right?
Okay, raise your right hand, stating your name. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as an officer of the Revere Chamber of Commerce. So help me God. Congratulations.
More pictures?
There isn't anybody who would want
Oh, he's gonna be taking this over again for the raffle stuff, right?
Did you say? You're gonna take over the raffle?
After
Yeah.
this is over, Type. What's with them? Take two. Good. Thank you very much. She got it.
At this time, I'd like to, before we do our 50-50 raffle and raffle off the beautiful centerpiece that Kerry's provided, I know I said this last month, but I'm going to say it again this month. I am so honored and proud to have such a beautiful board to work with, and I want to thank all of the new board members for dedicating themselves, as well as the old board members. It's been a really fabulous 3 years. When I took over, and I want to thank my immediate past president, Jeff Howe, for his direction and guidance. Jeff was basically doing it on his own, and he put the invitation out there, and I accepted, and we all worked together very, very, very hard, and we've revitalized the chamber. This is really, truly awesome to see all of the people in the room here today. And I'm very honored for the kind words, Bob, but it wasn't me. It was all of you. My first vice president, who was just, we're getting divorced after this anyway. But if he calls me one more time, he's fabulous. He kept me on track, and I'm so excited to have him step in. And for everybody else, just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can go on and on. I'm very mushy. Everybody knows me. But it's very exciting, and I'm very overwhelmed, and I can't wait to start working with Bob and calling him 47 times a day. Thank you. We have $90 in our 50-50 raffle, and the winning number is, keep forgetting that I need glasses, 196938. I guess I should check mine. You sure 196938? Oh, good. Thank you, Lila. Congratulations, she's going to go beautify herself.
Thank you.
It checks. And now I'd like to raffle off that beautiful centerpiece. They're underneath. Okay, sorry. And the winner is 196916. Is that you, Paul? Wow. I'd like to ask Bob Upton to come up and say a couple things. Our new president.
Thank you very, very much. I'm not going to drag this out too much. I just want to say thank you very much for everybody, for your strong support from the mayor's office. Our state delegation has been very supportive of the Revere Chamber of Commerce, the city, the school committee, but honestly, all the businesses in Revere, all the different nonprofit organizations as well. Everybody has been so helpful, so supportive, particularly over the last 3 years. And, the board, if you take a look at the face of, I know there were 25 people here just a few moments ago, but the face of our board has grown younger, I think. They're an enthusiastic group, they're a professional organization, and I'm really looking forward to continue the forward-leaning trend in moving up with the Chamber of Commerce, and we encourage you to please invite people to come and join with us at the Revere Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much.